want to sit at the table, pull up a chair. Welcome to Let's Bring It to the Table, where we talk about how to enhance our lives by addressing issues that specifically specifically impact our life. Our today's topic is we're still on the Black People Got to Do Better series. I Louis, what you think about the series so far since we started this?
This series is a wonderful eye changes. It's got me growth, my maturity growth even better. I'm learning, staying in life, especially when we did the 48 law. I mean, it's just opened my eyes. It was pertaining to a little bit majority of the. I'm keep putting my Bible first, but in all the other, it's very interesting. Very, I mean, you can learn from your idea, my idea. So it's I mean, it has blowing my mind. All the topic that we talk about, my growth.
Okay, so we're going to continue with that growth because today's topic, just so everybody knows that's in this series, it says, God said, God told me to tell you, and the devil made me do it. So, Alois, what do you think about that? The first part of that topic, when people always saying that God says, you know, you got even ministers in the hype of their ministry, they'll say God told them, you know, this.
Yes.
Then you have people that's just common people that'll say God said. So, what is your thoughts about that?
When they first said God said it, you had your determination, your what you call it, discernment on people that said stuff like that. Because God that come out, they might be told them to say it and say it in the into minds and say, God told you sometimes you gotta have your own faith and your own belief. Because you can't go by what everybody say, or you gotta go by your belief in your God. You got, like you said, it's the Holy Spirit. Once you get in your life and ask for discernment, you can't believe everything somebody's saying. You just gotta go by your own belief and put, like, the Holy Spirit is one during these people, and to look over them and see what they are, because they might not God. They probably said God said. You can't believe none of that stuff. That's why you got to have the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm. And that's true, because that comes into play that when, you know, sometimes for me, when they say God told me something, it's like this alarm sometimes, or this irky feeling that comes into me because of the fact that, you know, I know when God says something, you can, like you said, discernment will come and he speaks through us, you know, not just, and some people think that God only speaks through you through scripture. I'm going to say it again, and I always say this. It ain't even about the scriptures in the Bible when it comes to what God says to you. The Bible is there. It's a tool of self-improvement for you, or self-help. It's there to give you understanding of the things that men are telling you that they believe that God told them to tell you. So even with that being said, you know, some people don't get that.
Yeah.
They really don't.
They don't. And like I said, the Bible is generally like it's a to give us wisdom, understanding, guidance through his word. And he, like, has to go back, he used the Holy Spirit instruction and prepare us. And the Bible also have a lot of story in there that would tell you the story, Daniel's story, all those stories, the stuff that happened, and they give you to show yourself how to prove yourself by reading it. And and the Bible, it's a tool. It show you how you're supposed to live and how you're supposed to. But some people don't do it through the Bible. They base this stuff on other stuff. But me personally, I read the Bible, understand, give me wisdom, now understand. Else I read the Bible, because some of the stuff is missed Bible. The Bible is, in my prophet, is true to me, because I am Israelite. So I take that in various situations, but I also have to use the Holy Spirit, because God down here for us to show us and guide us into the way that we need to go. People personally, you got to read the Bible yourself to show your own self approved. I can't do it for you. I can't make you do it. So you got two choices: you follow him or you follow the other way. Which choice you gonna choose. So God give everybody free will. You have that free will to do what you ask to do, or do what you. I'm not gonna put a hammer in your head and say you gotta do this, you gotta do this, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna the fruit of the spirit that He give me. I'm not gonna try to put the Bible and make you go to the me as I walk with the Holy Spirit, the fruit of the Spirit that He give us. So that's how it's showing myself the way that I do. I know how other people do, but this is what I have daily. Sometimes I forget it, but sometimes I read myself in in tune with God. I can't do nothing without Him. I love the Lord. I know He loves me because I have seen what He did in my life. I see miracles in my life. So I keep, like I said, I love the Lord. I don't know about nobody else. Me, just my belief.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that's true. With her saying, and by her saying that, I forgot to say this, so y'all understand. There is no such thing as a right or wrong when it comes to speaking your truth. This is a Sonya perspective, and this is a Alois perspective, and anybody else, even in the chats are open and welcome. So comment. So understand, this is a perspective. This is not a right or wrong to this. And that's where we as people get it twisted, because you don't understand, you find it is wrong. It don't make it wrong. It's all about how you are guided in this life. Everybody's not guided the same way. That's what makes us all unique. So my perspective might not be your perspective. I know I'm quirky. I know I'm weird. I know I say things that people don't understand. I know this, and I accept it, and it's funny to me sometimes. So understand what Alois is saying is her perspective alone is neither right or wrong or indifferent. It is what it is. And since she brought up free will, let's talk about that. But let's also talk about when people come to you and say, God told me to tell you. I used to find that very funny when people tell me, God told me to tell you, because I don't believe God told anybody to tell me anything. If they have to come to you and say that, there's no way. That's an art of persuasion. They think by using God is going to make you do what they want you to do. And that's not the way that this thing works. It don't work that way. God used people to give confirmation. And the majority of the time, they don't even know they're doing it. They're just speaking what's been spoke into them to speak out to you. It's called confirmation. And you still have to discern that too, because it depends on where it's coming from. Am I wrong,
right?
Alo?
And that thing is also is when you're doing this thing, God also will come to do also. Because I had that problem too. He told me you need to go tell this certain person. At the same time, I got discernment that He said you need to do this here. Before I knew it, I was out of my seat and I was telling that person that. Not only did she take it happen, but I was obedient. If I was disobedient, then the stuff that to get what she need to go, then it wouldn't have happened. So sometimes God do give you He would tell you, He'll make you do it. I mean, you set your thing, you set back, you got to go do it. Now sometimes I have experienced that too, Sonya, when as a time I was growing up at work and I'm sitting down here mind my own business. Mind my own business, just he'll tell me you need to go get that person a hug like right now. And sometimes I be scared to go. I don't do it. I got convicted. He keep telling me you need to do it. Do it. So sometimes I get say, oh my God, I'm glad you came and hug me because you just don't know what I'm going through. So at that sometimes you got to be obedient. And I have learned the hard way to be obedient, especially also around me or when I'm at the grocery store or whatever. He'll tell me pay for that person. And sometimes I look like that. I said, oh, you got to be kidding. I don't have that much money. Pay for that person. So I said, okay, I will. So I paid for them when at the same time. I said, oh my God. So sometimes you got, like I said, main thing is the whole. When you deal with that aspect of God telling you what you need to do or try, you don't know what the circumstance, what that person might be in, what that person might be going through. Because only take thank you do the thing to change a person's life. Those things can change a person's life. Just the little things.
So let me tell y'all this. Alois is absolutely right. But I'm gonna tell y'all some languages, with this language of God told me. If God told me this language in this context, and you have to be mindful of people saying this, especially guest pastors and pastors, because who if he told me to tell you something, yes, there are what do you call them? There are prophetic people. I've been approached by prophetic people. Only one that came in my life that was speaking to me, and everything that this man told me came to pass. And I wasn't even in agreement with him. I straight up in his face told him I wasn't in agreement with him. But the one difference that was in that, he never said, God told me to tell you. He just said, the first thing that came out his mouth was that, are you ready for the assignment God has on your life? When you said yes, Lord, are you ready for what's to come? And he starts, and I was like, yeah, and he started saying all these other things that I refused to replace. But it took some years for everything to come to pass. And it came back to remembrance to me. And I went back and I apologized to him because he never said God told me. He said it in a different way. And whether I believed it or not, it did come to pass. I wasn't in agreement with him. I told him I wasn't in agreement with him. Because I tell a lot of people that, I can't be in agreement with you, and you got people, sometimes, when God told you something, it's personal. It's an intimate relationship between you two. It's not the language that a lot of people in today's time, especially in Christianity, that come to you and they tell you God told me to tell you. It's a manipulation. They're manipulating you in a way to either to get something out of you or get you to do something. And you have to be mindful of that. People seek validation because of their poor life decision by attaching God's name to. People are also with employment and asking for money. They'll put God's name to it. It's a personal experience. The majority of the times when and it is the majority, it's only a couple of people I would say something personally to them about what God has said to me, because the way he speaks to me, I think is different from my own personal aspect, and it always comes to pass. Half the time I wait until after the fact, and then I give my testimony so people can understand it. It's the inspirational of the church. They use it to inspire people as well. This language, it does do a direct contradiction to the scriptures as well, because when you look at free will, and me and my brother did almost like a dive deep in it. And I kept saying, oh, we're getting off track. We're getting off track. But, God did give us all free will. And when you end up saying things, even this is relating to when the devil made me do it. When you end up with your free will, and the majority of people who think they have free will, you actually don't. Because the simple fact, you don't take full responsibility. That was one thing that I learned a long time ago, was that I have to be accountable for me. If someone tell me I hurt you, I hurt them, I'm not them. I can't say I didn't do it. I have to be apologetic for it because I'm not them. Free will gives you that option to know right from wrong. Understand, when God made you in his image, you learned what he already knew, right from wrong, he good and evil. You learned these things. It's up to you which way you go with that. So you have to take full accountability for your own actions. So, especially with free will, is no joke. People, they ride the fences with it. God is not trying to make this a utopia, because if he did, he could have did that from the very, very beginning. He didn't. He wanted you to make the decisions that you made, because the decisions that you make because of the free will. Are we truly free? Anybody care to answer that? Are we truly free? Do we truly have free will? Or is it a facade, or an imagination of reality? Especially when you think about government. When you got a
That's
government,
right.
because we have to have leaders in place because this is what we wanted. Are we truly free? Do we truly get to enact our free will? They just took free will from women to decide. I choose life all the time, but I will not choose to have somebody die for unborn life, especially if they already have kids. I don't, sometimes certain things just can't happen, and I understand that God made us. I understand all of that, but he gave us free will, though, if we're supposed to mechanism. But a lot of people, they have to have leadership. They said God said, they blame ministers, they blame people of that's in leadership all the time because nobody wants to take accountability for their actions. They always want to point that one finger at somebody when they got these other fingers pointing back at them. They always want to blame somebody else. I've
Yeah.
heard people justify their reasons behind what they do. They blame all the time, gaslight people, narcissism toward people because they don't want to be held accountable for the actions that they perp. And then the latest I hear a lot of people saying is the devil made me do it. That's been from times forward. And people always saying the devil made me do it. What was you about to say, Alois?
That was what that comedian was. Flip was it? I think Flip
Yeah.
was a
Flip
comedian.
Wilson, he
First
yeah, he
one,
coined that.
he
Yeah.
said that the devil made me do it.
But people run
I
with
said, well,
that. You know how they do? They
what you
said,
right?
oh, it was the evil spirit was in the presence.
Yeah,
And it's a lot of people that do that. But they're not holding accountability.
they're not. The first thing I feel like that when that stuff started, you first thing take responsibility and you need to repent because the devil some of that stuff you bring on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just like I whenever I see myself, I be a did something wrong. I tell you, instant I was minding my own business, sitting in my chair. I was doing when I was trying to get up out my chair. I hit the floor. I went literally to the floor. I know I was thinking about something I shouldn't have did, but he would bring it to my attention. And when I was getting up, he made on the floor, and I couldn't do but laugh. I said, "Okay, Lord, forgive me," because my mind was not this supposed to do it. I was gonna try to do it. He said, "No, it don't work like that, sister." So I hit on literally out of nowhere. I couldn't do but laugh. I said, "Okay, I'm sorry, Lord. I had to ask for it. I was gonna try to do something to somebody or try to." He said, "No, you're not my child. You can't do that. You can't cause that." Because that person had made me so mad. I had all this stuff going in my head. At the same time, I said, "Okay, relax." Kept back the tea. But when I was doing that, he said, "You, I'm gonna get up." He told me, I on the literally fell on the floor. I could do the last. I said, "Okay, God, forgive me." I had to repent right at the end of there. So that one of the things I said, no, that sometimes God give you wisdom, bring you back down to where you thought you was bring you right back down, like 1, 2, 3. So that was kind of fun.
Exactly.
I said, okay.
Exactly. You're right. Because when people they say that they see these demons or they have evil spirits come around them and stuff, I'm like, I get it, but are you the evil spirit? Are you the demon? That's what I want to know. Are you? Because what I'm saying. There's two parts of you that lives in
It
you.
is.
There's good and there's evil. When God asks you to give your life back over to Him, He's telling you to choose what He feels is right. And a lot of times people don't think that it is right because what you decide is right. But how can you say what's wrong? You get what I'm saying? Only God knows what's
Right.
wrong. Is it our depiction of what's wrong that we're using? You look at wars and stuff. We feel like, excuse me, that wars are wrong. But are there a necessary evil that God allowed? Because everything God allowed, because guess what? Humans are involved. And it's your free will. Some are more dominant in what they choose to do, and they will run you over to get what they want. So is it a necessary evil, and is it justified to say the devil when in actuality in my head you are the devil?
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's the same. Especially when you're acting and you're doing, it's a part of an acceptance of a spirituality of the things you do. Like for instance, there's people that say there's good witches and there's bad witches. Who am I to say any different? If a good witch is doing everything in order to make sure that good and prosperity is happening, who am I to say that she's still evil? Because this is what she practiced. Don't we all practice when we use herbs? When we do the things that we do with herbs, the what do we call it, when you decide not to sweep after midnight, or if you decide to do things at a certain time, these are things that we do all the time. It's still the same thing. They decided to label it.
Yeah.
So what now? Our superstition.
We were bought up. Yeah, we were brought up in a lot of things. Do that, you can jump over broom and all that stuff. I was brought up a lot of superstitious stuff too, child. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. You can't change. You can't change life. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So it's so many superstitious stuff out there.
Yeah, that's true. But you can change life because God gave it to you. If I'm made in his image, and I keep reminding myself of that, if God made me in his image, guess what? I'm going to have my heaven on earth. I'm going to make my life, I'm going to be as positive as I can, and I'm going to change the mindset of me, because it starts with me in order to change anyone else. Because a lot of people, when they look at that and with all this blaming and everything, you have to understand something. And it goes back to being made in his image. Everybody has a world, whether you believe it or not. Our Lord is sitting in her world, and I'm sitting in my world. And now our worlds are colliding together because we are in harmony and we're sitting here having a conversation. Just like anybody else. Wait, remember, God said, you are in this world, but you're not of the world. If I flipped it wrong, I'm sorry. But if I'm walking around here in this world, that's this big old world, I don't have to be a part of that. I don't have to be a part of anything that I deemed is wrong in it, or if I don't feel comfortable with, I don't have to be in there, because he gave me free will. So I create my own, and I make everything happen. I need to make it happen with him, if that makes sense to anybody.
Yes, a lot of sense. Yeah.
So when you say the things, because some people can get mad, hot mad. I can get hot mad, and and no matter. Sometimes I tend to get really angry, and I tend to say I start forgetting who I really am, and I let that other part of me that I try to kill off every day come on. And sometimes, oh, come on up out of there. Let's go on and handle this so they can understand that they're not going to trample over me. And so when I do that, and then I let that beast come, does it make it right? Maybe for the moment. I can justify it if I choose to, but if they're really hurt behind it, then I'm gonna ask them to forgive me, and I'm gonna apologize. But we are human. We are.
Every day.
Yeah.
That's why you say keep going. Change your way, change your mindset.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because only he knows. We can only, if we're in tune to him, then we do know from wrong, or
That's
what doesn't feel right for us. If it feel right for you, then who am I to say it's wrong? That's your right and wrong. I don't live with you. I don't have, like I said, I got my 3 F's. So with that even being said, if it's not a part of me and it don't blend, I ain't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you say that's good for you and what makes it right for you, then hey, I'm all for it. if that's what you choose, because it is not involving me. But if something in me tell me to say something to you, I'm not gonna say God told me to tell you. I'm just gonna tell you because
You
that's me and him. I'm gonna do
that,
what he brings me to pass to
that
do.
word, that's why I used to say all the time, son, when I was back in the day, didn't know, said God to the peace. God told me to tell you this here. And the same time when sometimes I said, God told me to tell you this here, I didn't tell you to say that. He convict me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know how some people say stuff to get their way or try to get something out of that person. That back in my younger wrong when I was doing stuff like that. Until it came to my mind and said, okay, you seeing it. You got to repent and change your mindset. So I have to do that. Because that's what I used to say when I used to get mad with somebody, the first thing I said, God said it, God. I got convicted, but I said, okay, Lord, show me. Open my eye, let me see things. So he started, because I read the Bible when I was young, about 3 or 4 times. Read with no understanding what I would read. I didn't have a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
As that, I don't think I read the Bible about 3 or 4. I was a kid, then read it without understanding. Didn't have nobody to teach me. But true, now I eat meat now. I don't left the milk in the milk. So it was a process, it was a work process, but I did, by the grace of God, I did do so and put him first.
But
But
it's
yeah,
always a work in progress, no matter what. And it's just to be to the degree of what you and God decide. Not what I say, not what anybody else says. It's all about what God and you decide. Everybody
yeah,
has
that
their
is
own walk, and a lot of people try to persecute people for that walk that they decide. And you don't think that's that devil or demon that's in you that's doing this? A lot of people in Christianity, that decide to be in this way, this is what they
mm-hmm,
do. You got homeless people that's coming into church trying to change their life, and you shun them
mm-hmm,
and send them right back out there to the chaos that they was trying to run from. Why? Why?
yeah. And they turn people that come in like don't have good clothes on. I heard and I think they're so sad. You supposed to be helping people, not turn them away.
Exactly. But
So
this is what they do.
this is society.
Yeah. As a society, this is what they do. It's to each his own. But I never look my nose down to people like that. I remember one time I was with some family, and we was in downtown Memphis. One of my favorite places to be, but my cousin don't live down there no more. So it's all right. It is what it is. But we were going, I think it was one of my nephews were graduating, and it was a whole lot of us. And this homeless guy was walking by, and nobody said anything to him, but they turned their back to him. Now, mind you, I'm on the end, and he's heading my way. I said, whatever I got in my pocket, because I felt it. At that
Mm-hmm.
time, I didn't know. I was young. I was in my 20s. Or was I in my late 20s? Well, somewhere in there. I wasn't even married, I don't think. Or I was getting married. But anyway, beside the point, I went in, and I think I had like $20 in my pocket, and I gave it to him. And he was like, thank you, bless you, bless you. This will help me get my wife something to eat. I heard them saying, oh, he just wanted for liquor. He probably getting drugs. They had already did the worst of the worst. And I'm like, y'all didn't even know this man's situation. You know what I'm saying? It's been a many times like a guy when I was at Walmart one night, late at night, and I had to learn I think it was my bestie, it probably was him. Uh, I used to would go because I don't like Walmart. I despise it, and I don't like going during the day. I used to go in the middle of the night. I would literally take a nap, get up. If I woke up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning or 12 midnight, I would get up, go Walmart, do my groceries and stuff because all that chaos ain't in there. But this particular night, I
Right.
think I went around 10, and this guy was sitting out there begging people. And at this moment, something said, don't give him money. I'm like, okay. I told him, let's go. I said, I'm going in. I said, I'm willing to help. Get what you want. He got this foot long sandwich. He got a drink. It wasn't nothing but a little bottle drink and a little bag of chips. I bought it. He went on his way. I finished doing what I had to do. And when I got in my car and I was passing by, I saw him in the car with his wife and 4 kids. I immediately turned back around and I told him, "You did not get what you needed." I said, "Let's go back in this store and let's get what you needed." I said, "You got these babies out here. That ain't enough to feed y'all and
That's
everybody food." So I bought the kids more food. I even bought a bottle of milk and some cereal. And I said, "This will be for in the morning." Got the little plastic bowls and gave
mm-hmm.
that to him. And I said, when somebody tell you to get what you want, don't be in their pockets. Just get what you need from
Mm-hmm.
them. That's what they did. And then I gave him money for gas as well because I know he needed gas. And so he said I wasn't even gonna eat, I was just gonna feed them. I understand that. That's what real men do. He was a young man trying to feed his family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they do. But when God put it on you, you know. When he put it on you, you know. Anyone else,
Yeah.
as much as I seen all that night when I was parking and seeing people walking by, nobody stopped to help. You'll never know the blessings
Mm-hmm.
that you're
Missing
for just
out.
missing out
Mm-hmm.
because free will gives you that. And you'll never
Mm-hmm.
know because God said, when you do it to the least of them, you do it to me.
And you might be.
That's true. So
Mm-hmm.
understand free will is what it is. It's something that, it's not a force that 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 reckons. It's a force of love. That's all it
Mm-hmm.
is. It's a force of love. And when you sit up here and you try to say, well, the devil made me do it, or God told me to tell you, or God said, think about what is it that you using God's name in vain. You using
Mm-hmm.
you using things in a way to manipulate situations, whether it's good or bad. It's not what you're supposed to do. I could have went into giving y'all verses all day, but why? I felt like the opinion of what I was saying, would come off a little bit better because what was that verse about a thief in the night? Or is it
Thief
the thief in
come.
the night? Or was it the thief that comes to steal, kill, and destroy? I Lord, you the one that knows the verses. What is that?
Yeah. I think that was in I want 10.
Oh,
I
okay,
think
okay,
10. I said
yeah.
I think John
So when you think
might
about
be wrong.
that thief, and you literally thinking it's a thief, look in the mirror. It might be you. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying. That's my opinion. When you say the devil made me do it, are you the thief that comes in? You think about that. When these men and women are out here conning, scamming, uh, doing all the things that we consider as wrong. Some of them do it for survival. Somebody had to break that down to me about how the mindset of people in what we consider the hoods or poor neighborhoods is different from the mindset from people that are middle class. But if you come from that, then you understand it more. I can't say I understand it as much. I know of it.
Right.
I've been around people and talked to people with those type of mindsets, but it don't make it right if that's all they know. And it takes other people to say, okay, well, let me get you to get a little bit more understanding of why your mindset is this way. But one thing I can say about them hood people, you ain't gonna never say that they gonna say that the devil told me to rob you. They're never gonna blame somebody else. It's more of the
Yeah.
people of today that's supposed to be Christians or religious people that always
Right.
saying the devil made me do this, or God told me to say this, or God told me to tell you to stop doing that, or whatever. This is what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the way. I and my little pet peeve, with their free will, when you got these mega churches or these big churches and you got over 1,000 single women in this church and you telling them to wait on God and wait and wait on and wait on a husband. And your panel is married women and maybe two single women. What? What am I to think? What am I to say? You know what I'm saying? You sitting up here, it's 1,000 of y'all, and you've been in that church 10 or 15 years waiting on God, or you say, Jesus is my husband. I get it. I get it. It gives you comfort mentally and spiritually. But God didn't create you to be alone. And the standards sometimes, I never tell you to lower your standards, because I won't. But your man ain't gonna be perfect. He's not gonna be perfect at all, because there's no such thing as perfect. Now, perfection, that's a different thing. I feel like our Lois is made from perfection. She's not perfect, but she made from perfection. And I'll whoop your butt if you tell me otherwise. I have another sister made from perfection. My bestie, made from perfection. I know people, my dad, my brothers are made from perfection, but they're not perfect. But they made from perfection, because they can tell you things that you will be like, they made from perfection. So you have to understand that, when you're dealing with free will, to get someone, whether it's a man or woman, they're not going to be perfect, but they might be made from perfection. He might be 5 feet tall, but got everything else that you are desiring from him. Don't count him out because he's 5 feet tall and he ain't 6'7". You get what I'm saying? Don't do that. So, God give us that will to do whatever. But if we stay on these somebody being perfect, you'll never get them. You'll be just like that 1,000 of women that's sitting up there in that church waiting on a man, waiting for a man. And they're going, and I have a fear, and I pray that it don't happen. I hope all of them get a man and get married or whatever, however they want to do. But 9 out of 10, because of their strict belief system into a religious matrix that they're in, it might not happen. I say get a spiritual God to God. Get one with God spiritually. Because
and stop you giving the devil power. You keep saying the devil made you do it. You giving power to the devil. You giving the power to the devil. You can't do that. He loves you.
No,
the devil
it's
made
not
you do it.
Too late to get in. Come on. I think that's my brother. He said, is it too late to get in? Says, no, it's not. I'm flexing my rules with this because I'm opening up so people can get in. So if this is my brother, I don't know. I feel like it might be Toyana, because all it says is Facebook user. I don't know who that is. So come on in. If you're coming in, come on in. But yeah, Alois.
Yeah.
But I wish people did understand the fact that, you don't know how. Who is this? Who is this that don't know how? If you know me, look in your text, because it's Kermit. Kermit, look in your text. Look in the text in our group text, and copy the restream link. Hold on, y'all. Alois, talk to the people, please, about your ideal about the devil made me do it, while I give Kermit this link.
Okay. You got to realize the devil don't make, that's your free will. And yeah, when you tell the devil do it, you give the devil credit. You won't get a credit to the Lord. And you got to stay focused when you change the thing in your mindset. And I'm gonna read something that David Jeremiah. He said, when we fall, the first responsibility, repent, confess your sin to the Lord as you alone. Then speak it. When to blame the devil, we give him too much power. The devil is created being, stress and trouble, and he's a powerful creator who can attack us. But come to measure him up against a higher, God, there's no contest. Because God will win your battle. He will fight your battle. So just stay focused. Like I said, don't say the devil made me did it. You give him all the power. You don't want to give him no power in a higher. The Most High. So you just got to get your free will and do what need to be done to put you and take hold of your life.
Exactly. Hey, Kermit.
Hey, hello, how are you?
Hey,
All right, how you doing?
Great. Hi, Lois, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Good.
So, what do you have you been listening to the topic today?
I just I just got home and I heard a little bit, but I didn't I just saw what you had I saw what you were saying
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't I didn't know the whole gist of everything that you were saying. I did hear you say something about the church and being full of single women that was waiting on Jesus.
Right.
Or
Yeah,
you said something about Jesus is my husband.
yeah. They say that. That's what they say. Jesus, is my husband.
Mm.
I even said something.
You haven't seen it. You hadn't. I'm gonna have to send that. I'm gonna have to look it up and see if I can find that feed because somebody sent that to me and talking about, oh, you would have been great. I said, oh no, I wouldn't have because they would have put me out. They would they would they would have put me out because I wouldn't have went down for that. Because you look to me when we're talking about, when we talk about that and people giving up their free will in this manner, it's ridiculous to me. To me, it's ridiculous for them to say Jesus is my husband when Jesus not coming back like that. He ain't come back to get no wife. He come back to get souls and spirits and of whatever nature that Christianity applies on that. That's what
Mhm.
that's what he's coming to do. So for women, especially women that are over the age of 35, they're sitting up here waiting and instead of looking for uh finding the man that works for them, but they got this perfect list and
Mhm.
they want everything on their list. And when they don't find it, they're upset. Instead of looking for the perfectionist in a man, they looking for the perfect man.
Right.
Like I said, he could be you looking for 6'7" and he might be 5 feet and
Well,
have everything on your list.
the list is maybe the problem because your ideal of a good man or what you like or what's for you may not exist. Your standards could be too high. Some women want men, they want men to be of a certain caliber, but they are not the they're not up to par themselves to even receive that type of man once they come across that type of man.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a lot of it. I see a lot of it on day to day when I'm out and about and I'm doing business and I'm coming across younger women or I'm in beauty salons and I hear their conversation and it's so different. This generation is so different. This generation is full of entitlement with
Yes.
no type of work.
Yep.
I'm hearing women say I'm the prize, but you have no, you think, okay, you call yourself a modern woman and you want to be modern, but you want your man to be old fashioned. You want an old fashioned man to take care of you. You want an old fashioned man to protect, to provide, to do all these things, but you don't want to do nothing but show up and you feel like my looks or me just being there should be enough. I shouldn't have to cook. I should know how to clean. I should know how to take care of a household. I should know, I don't know the first thing about if I'm gonna be even what you need. I'm not about being your piece. It's because if it's not about me, you're gonna hear my mouth. So my thing is, a lot of these women, you could be whoever you want to be on social media, and and you could be as bad and high as you want to be, and you're gonna have quote unquote guys hollering at you, guys in your DMs. But these type of women are not getting proposed to. These type of women are not going home to meet mama and daddy. And I'm starting to see a lot of women now complaining about, okay, just because my profession, just because I'm a stripper, or just because I'm a IG model, or just because I have an OnlyFans page, why I can't get the guys who want to take me serious and marry me.
The
I'm seeing a
same
lot of these
reason
women.
that's in the reason why, the same reason why, and it's on both across the board, same way, because you got men saying the same thing, and it's because of what you decide. You know, you cannot take someone's choice away. If
Right.
this is what you decide, if you decide to be an IG model, a stripper, or whatever it is that people in this today's society look down as, I don't care how much money you make, it's still
Right.
looked down on. And so
Right.
your standards can't be up here when you down here. It just don't work. That's just like I tell women all the time. You can't say you want a six-figure man when you making 12,000 a year. You can't say you want a man with a house, a car, and have all these other materialistic things when
Mm-hmm.
you staying in the hood. You can't. You
But,
know, because
but
it just don't work.
that's the goal though. Basically
No, it's not a goal.
they'll look at you like you bashing them, and you killing their dreams. You know.
But see, this is the thing. It's no different than, and you know, it's like it's no good give between or whatever. You got women that are in my age bracket from 45 and up that that's looked at and frowned upon because they're independent black women, strong women, as they try to say. But we understand that whatever we want, we go out there and do it ourselves. We're not looking for a man to go out there and buy materialistic things for us. We're looking for a man for other reasons,
Right.
the providing of mentality, the spiritual. You know, finances come together is a great thing. But when everything else is either on a mental or a spiritual level that women of my age is looking for. They're not looking for all that other stuff. I know women who are my age, some of them get it, some of them don't. You know, I know women who have their own place and everything and wonder why they can't get a man. But if he stay in an apartment, a one-bedroom apartment in the hood or whatever, and not knowing what his situation was, and he could be a millionaire. Men don't have to have all that stuff that y'all want. They do that to pacify you. What you shake your
Mhm.
head?
That-
It's the and you got those
That's
metro men who like to, you know, nails done and all that stuff. But the majority of a real man, as we call real men, they don't need all that stuff. They good right there in that one bedroom apartment until they get that woman, and then they want to give her the world. You get what
Right.
I'm saying? I
Right.
if I'm speaking wrong, somebody tell me. You know,
no.
Speaking right.
but that's how it is, and people don't understand that. You can't take people's choice away. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. You cannot take their choice away. Let them make the decision and decide. You know,
Well,
if
I was gonna say a big problem what happens, especially now with relationships, is people are afraid if they are really who they really are when they meet you, then they not even gonna make it to the second date or whatever.
Yeah.
So you got men and women bringing their representatives who they think
Mhm.
that you gonna like, who they
mm-hmm,
think is gonna draw you in. So you're not meeting who you really, you're not meeting real them. You meeting their representative. So of course, if somebody likes you and they really want to be with you, you know they more apt to say, I got to be who I got to be for right now to reel this person in, and then slowly but surely, you know, when I get all the way in, then then I'll be my real self. But I can't get nobody like this acting and being how I really am, you know. So I think that's the problem where, or sometimes you now I do run across some females who, you know, they come in with their attitude like this is who I am. You knew what it was when you was started dating me, or when you got my number. I told you I expect this, I want this, and I want this. I like nice things. I like this. And if you can't do it, then don't waste my time. So you got some women like that too,
yeah,
and you got those guys who I call beta men who they just want to be with that arm piece so they'll go along with it.
Yeah.
And
Just to
so
have somebody.
right. So when you got a lot of guys out there who go along with stuff like that, then you got more women out there who thinking, okay, I can be like this too, because those guys do exist. I can still get me a 6-figure simp who take care of all my bills and everything and do what I want him to do. And as long as I just be on his arm.
Okay,
So
but that comes at a cost. It comes
yeah,
at
it does come at a cost. I mean, but you know, when you got a guy like that who just is a yes man and he's a good guy, and then you got women like that who basically run over the guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
They take advantage of them. They drive them, they drag them. I never forget. I think I was like in my early 20s, and you know, I that's when the first time I started seeing females who you meet a female and you talk to them, and you see them saying, "Oh, you know, you too nice," you know. Well, you too nice. You don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't do this, you don't do that. You too nice, And so I was just like, well, man, where's the time gone when the least bad habits you got makes you somebody that they say they don't want to be with because you don't have habits,
That's because that's what they used to. That's what they grew up with, or that's what their surroundings is about. And then when a real guy comes to them, they're showing you the real things about what a man can do for you and everything. They don't know how to accept it. That's just like women of the past, growing up, and I overheard a woman in a store saying, if he don't hit me, he don't love me. What you mean?
What?
What you mean?
Wow.
You got women who think like that. If he don't lay his hands on me, he
He
don't love
don't
me.
love
You got me messed up because you asking for an early grave to put your hands on me. It's mama in a black. That's all I can tell you. That don't happen. But it's really strange how women in the mindset, because of what their surroundings and environment is, or how, because sometimes it could be the environment of them having a father. Some people think that having a father sometime in the household is a good thing, and sometimes it's not, you know, and sometimes it is. It just depends on that type of father. And and
Right.
what a girl sees growing up, this is what she sees, and she thinks this is the way that it's supposed to be. And I call it like a weak mindset, because when you seeing things and you don't know no better, and this is all you know, and you don't see anything different, then this is all you know. She gonna always go after that guy that's smoking, drinking, and whooping on her, because that's
Mm.
all she know. And then and she's afraid of you, that the good guy that's willing to wine, dine her, show her a new world, educate her with the things that you know and different things, and speak blessings over her. She afraid of you because you a beast that she ain't never met.
Mm.
And some women
So
don't know, and men too, don't know how to come out of that when they meet someone that's general and different than what they used to. They fear that because they don't
yeah.
understand. It gets uncomfortable because they don't know how to move in that surrounding.
So so that's like well, I know somebody who's a good guy like that, and he met a woman like that, well, a young lady like that who was younger than him, and a real good guy. He respects women. He's all about, raised to provide and this, that, and the third. And she was raised totally different, like you said, in the dysfunctional household, which her mother was very dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
And well, in this aspect, like I told him, he basically offered her the world. I mean, to the point where she didn't work, he worked, he paid all the bills. He brought her into his home that he already bought, that was
Mm-hmm.
his, and let her come in. He uh tried to pour into her dreams and fun stuff that to get her motivated, but she wouldn't do it. Stood by her while she had health issues going on, and ultimately she left him and went back to her old boyfriend, who was, like you say, from the hood and dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and he didn't understand it. But I told him, like, if the family is dysfunctional and mama's already dysfunctional, then that's the way she's raised. So, she doesn't know that she deserves better.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's not comfortable with that situation. So sometimes somebody that's not comfortable like that, they will self-sabotage the relationship themselves,
Mm-hmm.
because they got to go back to what feels normal to them. Some people
Like a
are
crackhead.
raised up feeling comfortable in dysfunction.
Yeah. Because that's all they
They
know.
raised in dysfunction, right? So, and that's what I tried to tell him. He couldn't understand everything that he was doing for this woman. Why she would, you know, why she wouldn't, why she didn't want to be with him, and she would rather go back to that. And I had explained to him, but a lot of times you can't. I mean, I guess I go back to when what we say older times, like our grandparents just said, when you get to know somebody, you really court them
Yeah.
to really get to know each other and who you're dealing with. Because if you meet somebody in a short period of time and then you don't really know them, you only know what they told you, you met their representative, then you're moving them in with you, and you basically, you giving them all this stuff that they haven't earned. They haven't shown you that they was gonna give you any type of reciprocity, anything. So it's it's a bad situation. You got guys and you got women like that,
Mm-hmm.
that they will give, if they really like you, they'll open up and give you the world, and they really don't even know who they don't know the real you.
Mm-mm.
They just, I guess you got somebody who just a hopeless romantic who just wants somebody that much, or they're afraid to be alone.
Yeah. That's true. And people don't understand that representative. And I can speak, and I'm always transparent. My ex was that way. I woke up the next day after our wedding, and I really woke up with a stranger.
Mm,
Honestly, I
And they
woke up
truly.
with a stranger, and when I tell you that man was
Mhm.
true to the evilness in him, he was true to it. But my stupid, and see, and this has come to, because my stupid self, because of how I was raised in the
Mhm.
Christian church, I knew that I supposed to stay in that marriage no matter what. I supposed to make it work, keep it to myself, and pray to God that everything get better. What kind of shit is that? I'm
Mhm.
just saying.
Mhm.
But when you learn better, when you unite your spirit with God, He start opening you up and teaching you different things, and then you get the hell on up out of there. 20 years too long, but I'm free. You know what I'm saying? And a representative, when that representative come out there and it shows your family this, and then when you separate from that, and then everybody's like, but he's such a good guy. Well, you marry him. You get with him. And let's see how long that representative lasts for you. Because he played around for 5 years. It took 5 years, and I knew it was something. And I didn't marry him. It was 5 years, and I had to be persuaded to get to marry him because he was such a good guy. Bullshit.
mm,
So the representative will last as long as it has to. But once you put a ring on it, the real demon comes out.
mm,
It just is what it is. The real demon shows up and it shows out. And people have
Mhm.
to understand that when you let those people who have representative, you'll get a peek. You'll know that now that I do know, I can read the signs. But when you don't know, then you can't read the signs. You don't know. But some people call them red flags, especially if you don't understand them. But people got to get an understanding of that, because you don't know these folks. You might be getting the real me, but you don't know that other part of me. I know women who have gotten killed because they played the representative and the man got to know who they was and they were robbing him for his bank account. They were killed because of that. Because you're not being true to yourself. You always be true to yourself. Always, at all times, no matter what. He gonna accept you or he gonna deny you, one or the other. So what? Go back to the drawing board. Let's start again. You'll find that one. But to lie your way into somebody, that's not good. That's not good at all. To thy own self be true. I live by that motto. To thy own self be true. Because if people can't accept you for who you are, they'll never accept you. And them ain't the people you need to be around.
Right.
That when you going and some men don't play about their money, just like some women don't play about their money. You don't have to you don't have to be you can be alone. It's a difference in being alone and being lonely. You have to figure that loneliness out for yourself, so you don't have to be feeling lonely again. But to be alone, it's okay. It's nothing wrong with it. Because then guess what? You get to learn who you really are and how you are supposed to move and how you're supposed to do things. So then you're better for everybody. But I feel sorry for your friend that happened, but he seemed like a wonderful guy and her mindset just wasn't, he couldn't break through to show her that this is okay. Because she wanted to go back into her comfortable. And I tell people all the time, don't get comfortable. Because then life stops for you when you get comfortable. She went back to what she's comfortable for. And it might be another 15, 20 years before she wake up and then she be like, dog, I missed my shot. He gone now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, she did him. She did a number on him.
Oh, wow. Maybe she'll turn around and say the devil made her do it. I don't know. Because that's what the topic was about. People always saying the devil made them do it, or they said God told me, So no. Mm-mm. It's everybody has good and evil in them. It's the fact that which device are you gonna hold up to?
Yeah.
Which way can you sleep at night? Doing right or doing wrong? That's up to you.
Yeah.
I know that was kind of off topic, people, but I enjoyed the conversation with my brother Kermit's on there. It don't matter. Yes. It's still all still coincide together.
Yes, it does.
Still all coincide. Yes. Alois, do you have any 2 cents that you want to talk about?
Yes, I say this was an awesome lesson we talked about tonight. And people need to realize that you first in your life, or God, put him first, the Holy Spirit, which him all of his is, and progression. And put on the full armor of God when you go through these situations. Because the devil don't make you do that. So take care of yourself. And first thing is, God doesn't test us all the time. Mm-hmm. So be safe. Love you guys. Take care.
What do you have to say, Kermit, for what you brought to the table tonight? You can say anything you want to say tonight.
That's right.
Well, I'm sorry I got y'all off topic. I'm
That's
sorry.
Fine. That's fine.
No, I was just I really feel for the younger generation and finding good compatible mates because of so much of the outside influence, and things have changed so much till you basically living in the matrix. It's what you see as your norm you got to realize it's not real. It's you living in a fantasy world. It's full of avatars and you could be who you want to be. But at the end of the day, if like you said, if you're true to yourself,
mm-hmm.
and you live your life with transparency, hopefully you will attract someone to you who's generally attracted to you for you and not for the person that you appear to be that you really not. You attract someone to you who is uh that can be equally you could be equally yoked with, you know.
Mhm.
When you're transparent and you're not afraid to put everything on the table and you don't come with a representative, then like you said, you giving that person or you giving the person the chance, the option to choose whether they can deal with you or not, versus you getting this person out of false pretenses,
Mhm.
and that person feeling like they've been duped or betrayed or catfished or
Mhm.
something like that. So I just piggyback on what you said about just being true to who you are, and at the end of the day, what's for you is for you. you
That's
know
right.
and what's for you, what's truly for you, nobody else can't take it from you.
That's right. And that's no different than when God put it together. Can't no man take it apart. That's not just with man and woman.
Right.
That's with anything God put together. Can't be taken apart. You're right, Carmen.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right. So understand, everyone. When it comes to these things, be mindful. Like our Lord said, have that discernment to know when somebody come to you and they're trying to persuade you to do what they say do, and they bring God involved. You ain't supposed to do that. You don't bring God as a representation to get me to do what you want me to do. Just say you want me to do it, and then let me make the choice. But don't manipulate. And you putting his name in vain, like I said before. And with the devil made me do it, I'm just gonna say you are the devil. Because if the devil ain't made you do anything. I think a lot of people put the lies on the devil, and the devil ain't nowhere to be involved. But he is, because he lies within you. Because if you decide to do it, and you had free will of choice, and you decide to rock that way, rock with authority. It's all on you. That's your responsibility. You know, God gave you a spirit, and you decide to go whichever way you want with it. But like I said, do we really have free will, or do we really have freedom? Look at your government. Look at the things that they're placing in laws and the things they're telling us what we can and cannot do.
Mhm.
Is that messing with your free will? You tell me, because I can tell you, but why? I need you to tell me. Go look it up. Look it up. Because all of it, all this is the reality that you live in. And like I said, your free will is only within your bubble of the world that you live within for yourself, not this world that we walking around here calling the great USA. So it is what it is, but you have to make the best out of it. Um, I need y'all to go and watch, not for the next week, but the week after next. I need you to watch John Q. I couldn't remember the
Oh,
name of the other movie. Maybe it wasn't meant for me to remember it, but I need you to go watch John Q. Because the week after next, we're talking about living just enough to getting out the system. So it's going to be relating to that movie. But next week, this would have been great to bring that up in the topic, Kermit, and you're welcome to come back on to the table next week and bring a couple for free and bring some men on here, because this is it needs to be the battle of the sexes. Pat, if you out there, I need you to come on next week. Can you hear me hollering it? I need you to come on next week. But women, whoever want to come on, I need you to come on. I have up to 10 spaces, so, well, really 9. But you can come on. I want to make this almost like the battle of the sexes, because it's called Black People Problem and the true desires
Mm.
of a black man and black woman. Got Black People Problem. So that's next week talking. All right, I hear you, Pat. So yes, anybody who wants to get on, just DM me, look me up, whatever, and let's talk about it. Let's get you vexed so you can get on and make sure that the system is working for you. Because this topic is something, because we got to do better. That's why we on this series, because black people, we have to do better. Some of the talk is going to be silly. Some of them is going to be meat and potatoes. This is going to be meat and potatoes, because I need you to come in with an open mind, Men are going to have an open mind. They're going to listen to you and hear what you have to say, and you got to do the same. It ain't no one-way street. Do you hear me? You have to have an open mind, men and women, when it comes to this topic. So next week, Wednesday, every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is when we're going to be on. And you can be married or not married. It don't make me no difference. I just thought about that. No, you can be married or not married because it's still Black people problems. But love yourself enough to leave the table when respect is no longer being served. I love you all. Don't forget to follow, like, and share. And thank you for the comments. And you all have